welcome to my video blog. Today I will be taking a look at a game called The Amazing Spider-Man, which is available on the Xbox 360 and also the PlayStation 3. Now the game follows on after the recent film that's just come out this past summer. I won't go into too many details, but it involves sort of crazy scientists, the creation of large monsters, robots and things like that. And it's your job as Spider-Man to save the day and get the girl. The best thing, probably the best thing in the game, is the fact that you are Spider-Man and you have this huge virtual Manhattan to play in. Basically, it is your playground. And if you think back to any of the previous Spider-Man games or films, the coolest parts are when Spider-Man is swinging around, ziplining from place to place, and jumping off really tall buildings and falling all the way down, and then swinging at the last minute without taking damage and stuff like that. And that's exactly what you can do in the game. There is quite a lot for you to do in the game. There's the standard sort of story mode where you progress the story, or there's a lot of sort of different side missions that you can do. For example, you can pick up an infected citizen and you have to carry them to like a medical center where they can be healed, and you're rewarded with some experience points which you can use to level up your character and to purchase new abilities and stuff like that, such as stronger attacks, stronger webbing, and you can basically unlock sort of more secret moves and that kind of thing. One of the really great things about this game are the boss battles. Most of the boss battles have two parts to them. There's usually a part where you have to swing around the area and you have to find the boss's weak point and attack it. And then usually you'd go to a second stage of the boss fight where you're on your feet and you'd have to dodge attacks. They look absolutely amazing. Fair play to the developers. They pulled it off really well, and the graphics are fantastic. So yeah, well done to them. Bad points in the game which I have to mention. For me, the main problem with the controls, they usually work fine, and it's really a joy to control Spider-Man as he's swinging around and stuff like that. But it comes with when you try to do small jumps, like to get to a place just in front of you, the game will just propel you a lot further, and you'll end up sort of going 3 or 4 buildings past where you initially wanted to go. So some of the levels, the indoor levels, which you're forced to go to quite a lot, they're kind of generic run-of-the-mill sort of laboratory, sewers, warehouses, that kind of thing, and they're obviously not as graphically as impressive as the outdoor areas, and they're just not as interesting. You can't sort of swing around as much, and you spend a lot of your time sneaking around and dispatching enemies, which it is quite fun to do, but they're too often. You have to do the same levels over and over again, which kind of feels a little bit cheap sometimes. There's a lot to see and do. Some of it is repeated, so it feels like the game is kind of being drawn out unnecessarily. But the combat is good. If anyone's played the Batman Arkham City or Arkham Asylum games, it's basically exactly the same. You have your stealth attacks and that kind of thing. It's basically the same game but with Spider-Man in, which, you know, is no bad thing. If you're playing on one of the harder settings, it is a challenge. Some of the bosses, as I mentioned before, are really difficult. If you're a fan of the films, or if you're a fan of the Batman games or any of the older Spider-Man games that have been out on previous consoles, then, you know, this game for you probably already got it or thinking about it. So it's definitely worth a purchase if you're a fan. I'd give the game a 7 out of 10.